Moving on to item number 7, discuss and consider adoption of a program for performance of services in lieu of payment of taxes on homestead of elderly persons, tax code 31.035. And Councilman Martin put this on the agenda. I'll defer to Councilman Martin. Oh, I'm sorry, I got it backwards. Excuse me, Councilman Jones. I apologize.
I've talked about this at length before and we provided, we do have some stuff. We all provided a list of all the opportunities. Yeah. Someplace in there. Yes. Whereabouts? This list.
Yeah, we got it.
It's the next page, yeah. Here.
That's what I did. Okay. I went to several departments throughout the city, including the general offices, animal control, city maintenance, downtown Big Rocks, and the city administration, and you requested that I give an overview of how we could use this program. And overall, in total, there'd be 68 hours per worker. We'll be looking at $500 a year maximum credit. You must be 65 or over, live in the city, Glen Rose city limits. It could be enacted immediately, in my opinion. I think I differ with our attorney on this, or a comment. But at least it would be enacted before any taxes become due. Animal control could use somebody 9 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, 468 hours. Right now, we're short an animal control employee, but it'd still give them something to work at a couple hours over the lunch hour, 3 or 4 days a week. City maintenance, anything from watering to downtown plants, 4 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, 208 hours a year. That'd be about 4 employees. City maintenance on Big Rocks and the Riverwalk. We'd have people cleaning up the Riverwalk as well as maintaining Big Rocks after weekends on Tuesdays and Fridays, for Mondays and Thursdays before they mow and before they clean it up. About 208 hours a year on something like that. Again, 3 to 4 individuals probably total. In fact, the total annual expense for Big Rocks and the Riverwalk together is 312 hours, or about 5 individuals. Anyway, I'd like you to consider that. And Oakdale Park, front desk help 3 hours, 11 to 2 every single Wednesday. They give them a break to do some administrative stuff outside of the office and give them a break, 156 hours a year, 2 persons, 68 hours each. Cost for that is only $1,000. Including their gardening maintenance at Oakdale. We got 2 people, 2 hours a day, twice a week, 52 weeks a year, 416 hours per year, 6 people be working out there, and that's only a cost of $3,000. When you start spreading these people out all over the city, our relative cost is rather cheap as opposed to hiring one person and trying to get them to go everywhere. You can't do it. Even CBB could use somebody in the downtown CBB annex. We've been talking about that, adjacent to the city, to Chamber of Commerce. They could work on Saturdays from 10 to 2, 50 weeks a year, 220 hours total. You'd have about 3 people working that place. Our total expenses, we figured out, were about $13,000 out of the city budget to fund this, and for that you'd be buying a lot of people. Okay, that's it.
Councilman have comments, questions? Councilman Martin.
Yeah, should that be $4,000 a Oakdale when they're totaling up the expense?
Yeah.
Oh, I had $1,000 on the front desk and $3,000 on gardening, and total Oakdale $4,000. Is that what your question was?
Yes.
Okay.
Question, Councilman Ramsey?
Yes, sir. Okay. Under administering property tax program, one person, a total of $500. And are you stating that this person would be the one to coordinate, do all the paperwork that has to be turned into CAD on a weekly basis?
As needed, yeah, probably once a week, once every 2 weeks. They'd get with the department heads who were supervising these people and saying how many hours you worked.
Okay, I'm still getting back to my same problem, my same concerns, not problems, my same concerns. Right now, I don't know of any department head that is not overworked without having to oversee a volunteer. And unless we're going to hire someone that's going to oversee this program, make sure the schedules are made, make sure that people come there. I know, talking to the CAD office, that there's paperwork that has to be filled out there to turn into them on a regular basis. And I don't see one person getting a $500 a year credit overseeing this program, because I'm gonna pick on Angie tonight, not Jim. I always pick on Jim. Go back to Jim. Or Kelly. I'll use Kelly. All right. In Kelly's situation, I mean, the times that I've been down there, and even in Angie's, I mean, they're running back and forth, meeting themselves, and even with their, and in your case, with your, what are they called? Camp workers, camp workers, or campers, there you go. I mean, she really does well to supervise there. So who would you get to supervise these people to, in the cleaning in the yard and doing those things? Is that something that?
No, Waylon would have to assign the duties for the yard work, and then in the office, Teresa would have to show her big man how to answer the phones. But that basically would be what they would do, is just answer problems, answer questions.
Because you're talking about taking during lunchtime for Nicole and a new worker that's going to come in. I just feel like if this is going to work, it's a great idea. But if it's going to work, we need a full-time person to oversee the program, to do the scheduling and make sure they show up. When it's a volunteer program, even if they're paying their taxes, if something else more important comes up in their life on that day, they will either not show up or they'll call at the last moment. And if you're planning on someone being there during that time,
Well, it's not a volunteer program in that they're signing a contract. If they don't fulfill their contract, then they lose that $500 credit toward their taxes. We're also not dealing with a bunch of 18-year-olds. We're dealing with a bunch of people who are 65 and over, and hopefully they've had a career and feel like they can do something like this, and they'll commit to it.
well,
And I don't have any names there, because we may put this program out there and say we cannot find, 30 or 40 people over 65 willing to perform these services in the city.
even those of us that are over 55 and over 65, even signing a contract, if we're enticed to go on a cruise, it's free.
Then it will cost you $500 a
Exactly.
credit for the city. You're not going to have your job.
That's exactly. But at the same time, you've got to have somebody overseeing it. Are you going to have Kyle overseeing this program as part of his job?
I'm saying for as simple as it sounds, if they sign off and they're going to walk the river walk twice a week and clean up big rocks twice a week, that's going to be pretty much an easy check off on a piece of paper saying, yes, it was done.
But Jim, Mike or somebody's got to go down there and make sure they're doing it.
I think they're going to see that when they go down to if they're going down to the big rocks to mow it on a Friday, they'll see very quickly that it was not picked up on a Thursday.
Comment, Councilman Martin.
What about the people over 65 that are on a walker, a wheelchair, that don't have the option to come and do this, and they would like to help pay their city taxes also? Maybe somebody's disabled that can't get out, or somebody just can't get hot. You want them out there in the summertime, whatever. And speaking of that, to me, the liability issues that go with this, for having somebody that's 70, 80 years old out there and they get too hot or something, fall and hurt themselves. Well, I know we heard that the city's not liable, I know that, but you're still gonna have to hire an attorney if you get sued. Still gonna cost you, even if you don't lose. So but to me, it's discrimination because everybody's not eligible to do this that would like to do it, maybe.
You're absolutely right. Everybody's not going to be eligible to do some of the jobs out there.
Yeah.
Councilman Bryant.
Mayor, I'm going to agree with Mr. Martin just said on that as far as discriminating. One of my biggest issues with this from the beginning, this is a great idea. I want to do anything we can to help our seniors or disabled along the lines of reducing tax costs for sure. But that's one of my concerns. What is our application process and what is our choice of applicant process? How do we pick and choose? I mean, if you've got 80 people that do turn in applications, but we're only going to pick 40, where do we go from that point? Are we going to deny somebody that can't do the job or somebody that can? That's going to leave them out in the cold and they've got it right, much right as anybody else. So that's my bottom line concern is application and choice of application for approval on this, because other than that, it's a great idea. It serves the city and it serves the citizens, but we've got to include everybody. We've got to include the disabled, people that can't necessarily get out, like Ms. Martin said, in the heat, or somebody that's not mathematically inclined to do book work or public communication. So we've got to figure out a way to do it with everybody involved.
Disabled jobs, the front desk help at Oakdale, where they answer the phone. It could be the CVV, where the front desk help, where they have wheelchair access to the CVV, even if it's animal control, and just answering the phone over the hours over there. Those are all air-conditioned jobs.
What about over number of applications? What if you've got 80 people that want to do this? How do you pick your 40?
You'd have to do it just like everything else. Are you able to do this job?
That would be my only one issue right there.
So we won't know unless we put it out there, to how many applicants are actually there. And if it was that good and it was that successful, then we could have 80 people working.
Councilman Martin.
What if Crowley was the one that they say this in the state of Texas, got it going. And now Crowley doesn't do it anymore? Is that correct?
That's correct.
So if they're the one that do the brains that got this going, they got the Texas legislature to buy off on it, and they're not doing it anymore, what happened to that?
What they're doing is they're now paying those persons as part-time employees at the minimum wage rate and writing them paychecks where they can use that money to pay their taxes or they can use it to buy groceries, whatever. Basically, every person that would have qualified for the program, to work the program, transitioned into a part-time city employee.
What a bit of difference then, they're an employee now.
Yeah, part-time employee, that's a huge difference.
Any other comment from council at this time?
I'll make one more. I don't see this council ever approving 25 or 30 part-time employees at one fell swoop. So I don't think you're going to spend the money on that. But this is $13,000 that will get you about 2,500 hours worth of time.
Okay, moving on, I'll inquire the audience. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to come up and comment on item number 7 about this program? Okay, no one from the audience. I would come back to the council at this time to entertain if there's a motion to be entertained on item number 7. The adoption of a program of performance and service in lieu of payment of taxes on homestead of elderly person tax code 31.035.
Can I make my own motion, or do I have to, since I brought it up? I'll make my own motion for this.
I have a motion from Councilman Jones to approve item number 7, a program of performance of services in lieu of payment of taxes on homestead of elderly persons tax code 31.035. Do I have a second? Okay, that motion dies for lack of a second.